So in this video, I'm just going to show you some different techniques for catching or trapping the float at the back of your work. When we're working in colour work, for some of the sections, you'll find that you've got too many of one colour to leave the alternate colour at the back with a long float. I've got one here at the beginning of the yoke where I have just left it as a long float over 5 stitches, and that's probably as many stitches as I would leave before using this technique of catching it. If you have any longer, it can create problems with the tension, but also it can be a bit frustrating when you're putting on your jumper because you can catch it with your finger or your ring. But 5 stitches is probably the maximum I would leave before catching. So I'm now going to show you how to do catching the float. Now the simplest thing to do is I'm just knitting across my band of single colour, and I want the alternate colour, the dark colour in this case, to be caught at the back. So the simplest way is to literally put my right needle in, lift from underneath the dark colour and lay it over the top, and then carry on knitting. And by doing so, you can see I've caught it at the back. That's absolutely fine, and that's the simplest way of all. But you'll find after a few of those repeats, you'll have quite tangled yarn, which is fine because it just means you untangle it. But another way is to do it which doesn't involve it getting tangled up. So when I'm knitting colour work, I hold it in my right hand and I have the one colour on my top finger. In this case, it's the light colour. And then I've got the dominant colour laid underneath, and that's over my middle finger. So what I do at this stage for catching it, to start with, place the right needle as if to knit. I then bring the dominant colour and I just lay it over the needle. I then go to knit with my top colour, and then I just bring the yarn back to the back and let it drop off, and then carry on, and I've caught from the back. And the useful thing about this technique is that that still remains underneath, so it hasn't got all tangled up. Let me show you how I do that again. So I've just got to move along to the next position. So I'm just doing the 2 coloured stitches. So again, from below, so I hold the dominant colour below. And for this round, I'm also doing the increases. So that's knit 2 and then increase left leg. So now I'm in the position again to do the catching the float. So I put my needle in as if to knit, and then with the lower colour, the dominant colour, I just lay that over the needle. Then I bring the top colour to knit, and then I just take that back and the yarn is caught. So that's a very simple technique to do. I'm just going to take it back a couple of stitches and show you an alternative way. This is in the position to catch the float. Now this is if you have the technique of holding the yarns in both hands. So for this, I have my main colour in the right hand and my dominant colour held on the left hand. And this is even simpler. So I'm going to do it again. Needle in as if to knit, lay the dominant colour over the needle, knit the stitch and take it off, and it's caught at the same time. So that's a really quick way of doing it. I'll do that one more time. So again, I've got my dominant colour to the left of my work and my main colour to the right. Needle in, yarn over the needle, knit with the right needle as you knit it off, so the dominant colour will come off the needle and it's caught at the back, and then you can just carry on knitting. Another one of this same technique of using it both with both fingers, both hands, is you can do it that you put your needle in, bring your yarn forward, knit, whoops, it's come off, knit that stitch and then take the yarn back. It's the same principle where the stitch has then been caught. So I'm just going to do that one more time. Let me move along to the next section. So this is now having the yarns in both hands. So that's my dominant. So I pick that, I throw that, I pick that, and then I'm going to do my 2 increases. I'll just move the yarn just so I can do my increase stitch. So yarn off and left leg increase, and here we go again. So I'm going to just take my left hand with the dominant colour, put the yarn, my needle in to the next stitch as if to knit, bring the yarn over the needle, knit with the right needle, and as I knit that'll come off, and then I can carry on. And the useful thing about that is that then the yarn is still sitting below, so nothing has been twisted, so it's all very, very easy to work. So that's different ways of catching the floats.